Welcome to another episode of Legion Visual Guide. In this episode, we will discuss the Imperial Officer and the command cards found in the Imperial Specialists Personnel Expansion box. The Imperial Officer is a commander unit for the Galactic Empire. It moves at speed 2, has a health value of 4, courage value of 2, and rolls white dice on defense. At ranges 1 to 2, the Imperial Officer can attack enemies with her RK-3 blaster pistol, rolling 1 black and 1 white attack die. In melee, the officer rolls 1 black attack die. We will now break down the keywords associated with this commander. Spotter is a stackable keyword that costs 1 action to perform and allows a unit to give aim tokens to a friendly unit as long as they are within range. In this example, the Imperial Officer has activated and is within range 1 of Darth Vader. It uses Spotter 1, which allows it to give 1 aim token to the Dark Lord of the Sith. The Imperial Officer now has 1 action left in its activation, and I have a feeling that these Wookiees, well, they're going back to Kessel. Inspire is a stackable keyword that gives support to friendly units that are susceptible to suppression. After rallying, a unit with the Inspire keyword can remove a suppression from an eligible friendly unit. In the case of the Imperial Officer, she can remove 1 suppression because they have Inspire 1. In the example we see here, the Imperial player has just activated its Imperial Officer, which has no suppression. Regardless, every unit performs a rally step at the beginning of their activation, whether they need to remove suppression from themselves or not. So after activating, the Imperial player can use the Inspire 1 keyword. The officer is within range 2 of 2 units that have suppression tokens on them. The Imperial player can choose to inspire one of the 2 bounty hunters, and in this case, they choose to remove a suppression token from Boba Fett. Inspire is a free keyword, meaning the Imperial Officer still has 2 actions left. Sharpshooter is a stackable attack-oriented keyword that reduces an opponent's cover. Sharpshooter 1 eliminates light cover, and Sharpshooter 2 eliminates heavy cover. The Imperial player has activated its Imperial Officer and has decided to attack this Rebel Tauntaun, which in addition to hiding behind heavy cover, also has a suppression token. I imagine the Tauntaun is, remembering its days back at Hoth, and now that it's not a snowy environment, it's contemplating how a lizard, even if it's covered in fur, could survive the brutal conditions of a planet like Hoth, while having to deal with the fact that it's a cold-blooded reptile. Not to even mention the fact that, the insides are warm enough to stuff a freezing human body in it to keep it safe. Anyway, back to the attack at hand. The officer fires its RK-3 blaster pistol. The 2 hits would usually be eaten up by the heavy cover, but because the officer has Sharpshooter 1, the Tauntaun's cover is reduced to light cover. One of the 2 hits is now eliminated by the light cover, but the second hit goes through, so the Rebel player will have to roll defense dice against it. Remember, the highest amount of cover you can have as a player is heavy cover. Even though the Tauntaun has a suppression, which grants cover, and it's in heavy cover, it's still affected by Sharpshooter 1. Cover is counted up before the effects of Sharpshooter go through. And as always, the highest cover value a unit can have is heavy cover, which blocks 2 regular hits. So anything extra, like this suppression, adds nothing to a player's defenses. The Imperial Specialists Personnel Expansion comes with 3 generic command cards that can be used by any commander, including field commanders and any units that have been promoted to the commander rank throughout the game. We also want to remind people that the original command cards for Coordinated Fire and Covert Observation have been changed. What you are seeing on the screen and what we will be covering in this video is the updated text for both cards, which you will not find on the cards that come in the Imperial Specialists personnel expansion box. We recommend all players find the most recent RRG update and write down the card's new rules, which are found in the errata section of the RRG. If that sounds confusing, you can also find custom card creators online who provide cards with updated text. These cards with updated text may or may not be legal in tournament play, so please consult your tournament officials before bringing them with you to a tournament. Alright, on to the command cards. Covert Observation is a 1-pip command card that allows any Imperial commander to issue orders to either an operative or special forces unit. It also affects the orders issued by your opponent, giving a suppression token to each unit they issue orders to. In this example, the Imperial player plays Covert Observation while the Rebel player plays Somebody Has to Save Our Skins. The Imperial player has priority this round and will issue orders first. The Imperial player can choose to issue orders to either its Imperial Special Forces unit or Bossk. It chooses to issue orders to the ISF unit. The Rebel player then issues orders to Leia Organa, R2-D2, and the Tauntauns, giving suppression tokens to each unit in the process. I know the Rebels like to beat the whole hope slogan thing to death, but they're really going to need some when rolling rally dice this turn. Now that issues have been ordered, the round commences with the Imperial player going first. Remember that Covert Observation is an errated card. You can no longer use it to look at your opponent's command cards. Pinned Down is a 2-pip command card that allows an Imperial commander to issue orders to support or heavy units. The card is meant to screw up opposing players' activation control. If an Imperial player uses a support or heavy unit to attack a unit with a face-up order token, then the token is placed back into the order pool. Here we see the Imperial player issuing orders to the 74Z speeder bike unit and ATST. The Rebel player, who played Assault this round, issues orders to Luke, Leia, and everyone's favorite droid duo. The Imperial player goes first, and instead of activating either its speeder bikes or the ATST, they decide to pull out a unit from their bag. They're in luck as they pull a support token, and it allows them to activate their Dewback flamethrower unit. The Dewback fires at Luke. Before anything else is done, Luke's face-up order token is placed back into the Rebel commander's order pool because the attacking unit was a support unit. The Imperial player can use this tactic as many times as they like this round, using any support and heavy units to repel a Rebel player's face-up order tokens. Coordinated Fire is a 3-pip command card that allows any Imperial commander to issue orders to 3 core units. After friendly core units spend aim tokens during range attacks, another friendly unit can gain an aim token as long as they are within range 2 of the core unit that spent the token. It's like they say, the best offense is an offense with an aim behind it, especially if you're an Imperial Stormtrooper. In this example, the Empire has pinned the Rebel player's Fleet Trooper unit, which is guarding this precious shipment. Using Coordinated Fire, the Imperial player is able to issue orders to its 3 remaining core units. During its first turn, the Imperials choose to activate their Stormtrooper unit. For their first action, they gave themselves an aim token, and then they use their second action to fire on the courageous fleets. The Stormtroopers look like fools in front of Vader, but they spend their aim token to reroll a blistering attack, demolishing the fleet troopers in the process. And for those of you wondering why the Stormtroopers rerolled 4 dice instead of 3, it's 100% because Vader intimidated them into rolling a 4th dice and has absolutely positively nothing to do with the fact that I forgot how Legion works. Because they are a core unit and spent an aim token on their attack, they can give an aim token to a unit within range 1 to 2. They decide to give an aim token to the Snowtroopers. Remember, the Coordinated Fire command card is an errated card and no longer works for melee attacks. This card has been updated so that only ranged attacks trigger this card's effect. Thank you for watching another riveting episode of Legion Visual Guide. May the Force be with you.